There's Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmidty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right, how are we?
Great.
Good, thank you.
Right, good. Have we got any news in the last few minutes?
No.
Little Bow Wow's version of Candy, or I Want Candy, is terrible.
I'm a pedo? Yeah, that's a throwback to the last episode. If you haven't listened, you should.
Kids want candy.
No, they don't. They really don't.
And we did a weather check. It's 4 degrees here at the moment.
Oh, that's cold.
It's 5 degrees
And
here,
over in
so I'm
Perth?
only beating you by 1 degree.
It's very cold, 13, 14 degrees.
Show off.
Can I ask a question? Do you have heating on in the house or a fire?
Yeah.
Not in my house currently,
fire.
no.
Okay, cool. I feel more comfortable now. You're making me feel cold thinking about not having it.
We have heating because I put a little tiny eco panel in the front room because our gas
What's
bill
that?
came in. Well, our gas bill came in 2 days ago and it was $400 for 6 weeks. So I said to Tony, you're not allowed to heat the house anymore. So he's got this tiny little eco panel, which is like a 400-watt panel going in the front room.
I don't understand what that is. A panel of what?
It's like a little ceramic panel, but it's only 400 watts. It's not giving him a great deal, but we've set it up so that the front of the house is heated and not the rest. That's why the gas bill was so high, because we've got gas central heating and it heats every room in the house, right? So I've said, no more gas central heating. We just have to localise. And if you've been to a house, which all of you have, there's a huge amount of shared living space in the front, in the top.
Yeah.
So he put this might sound mad, but he put a blind between the kitchen and the front room. If you drop the blind by 3/4, it keeps the heat in the front because heat rises, right? So it actually allows just the front room to heat up. And so I put a little eco panel in there and said, you can have that, but you're not allowed to heat up the whole house. So I sound like a real energy Nazi, but I don't believe in just paying energy companies for things that they're charging a ridiculous amount for.
You'll have to start importing gas from Japan. It's cheaper. It's the same gas that we send over there, but it's cheaper to buy it back than it is to buy it locally.
Shall we introduce ourselves? I'm Schmidty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarkey, and together we are
Trial by
Wine.
And what are we drinking?
I'm going to stick with the bottle I've already opened. Soda water.
The soda water.
Soda water, boys.
I'm still on the ginger resistance.
They're resisting the ginger.
Is it yummy though? As far as ginger is. Some of those ginger beers too, it's lovely.
It's not a super sweet one, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's made with, I don't know, some of these premixed
Chemical
drinks. The alcohol has a higher burn content than a nicely made one.
I don't know what that means.
It feels a bit.
It's just not. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember the chemically kind of thing?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like some of those things a bit chemically taste like.
It's like I can't believe it's not ginger. There's no. There's obviously no ginger in it.
No, there's probably like a very small amount in it. Yeah.
Well, I'm drinking a mix of, well, not a mix of, but I'm alternating between a bottle of soda water and Bailey's. And that's because we're on our 3rd episode and I'm about to present some information.
Woohoo!
I think that, there's a good chance that I'm not very tidy right now. So I'm trying to remain somewhat tidy. Well, no, I've had the story from Candy. I want candy. We also had Swanee's story, which was, still pretty disturbing. So
I can't remember it.
That's okay. That's a coping mechanism, Swanee. That's it.
Just
Well,
my brain.
Snaps for you for keeping your untidiness well hidden.
So I am going to. So the backstory here for our listeners is that Swanee only told us like 5 minutes ago that she's decided to go to Europe for some weeks. And so we're doing a series of episodes to provide content for that period, which is all good, except that I was somewhat unprepared for that. So I've put together a series of, well, you try and find funny crime stories, but sometimes, things, it feels a bit limited. So I've done my level best to curate a series of amusing articles, and that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So my first one is from the HuffPost.com.
Bring it. That was funny.
I'm not going to tell you the headlines because that kind of gives it all away, right? Because they're not very long stories.
Yeah.
So first one from HuffPost.com. So funny. And it starts, a man wanted for burglary in central Maine avoided arrest until he revealed his hiding spot on Snapchat. Police in Somerset County, no relation to where I used to live in the UK, had been searching for Christopher Wallace, 24, for his involvement in a January burglary of cooking equipment, the Associated Press reports. Wallace allegedly stole a propane cook stove and a cast iron wood stove from a camp in Pierce Pond Township. Another news affiliate reports, the Bangor Daily News.
Bang her daily news.
Bang her daily. And what's funny about this, I feel like this article is full of other news stories. So the Huff.com has gone, here's a story, and I'm going to whack 17 different news affiliates into this story.
To add credibility.
And I'm going to read them all because that's what I'm doing. So on Sunday, Wallace posted to Snapchat. On Sunday, Wallace posted on Snapchat that he was back in his home in Fairfield. After tipsters relayed that info to police, otherwise known as narcs, the authorities showed up looking for the fugitive. They had no initial luck finding Wallace in his home. But then Wallace, because he's an absolute friggin' idiot, posted a second time on Snapchat saying that the police were in the house looking for him and he was hiding in a cabinet.
Yeah.
According to centralman.com.
I thought you were going to say he's going a bit more to the right. No, upstairs a little bit. Yeah, oh no.
Cold, warm. Oh, cold, warm, cold.
It's burning.
A Facebook post by the Somerset County Sheriff's Department described the arrest. A search of the kitchen cabinets turned up some food, some pots and pans, and also a pair of feet. Pair of feet just so happened to be attached to a person, and that person was Christopher Wallace. He was removed from the cabinet and placed under arrest. Wallace was charged with burglary, theft and violation of conditions of release and taken into custody, according to myfox8.com.
Could he also be charged with bringing humanity into disrepute?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Darwinism. Police also arrested Erica Hall, 20, and charged her with hindering apprehension after she told officers that Wallace was not at the house and had not been around for weeks because she's a liar, pants on fire.
Pants on fire.
Yeah. And that's from the Bangor Daily News report.
Oh.
There you go. So that is Christopher Wallace, the idiot. The next one I've got is from newser.com.
News what?
I was waiting for a comment on that. Newser. Newser. Newser.com.
Newser.
News as in the daily news, but newser.
The person who tells you the news is the newser.
I thought it said muser, like, my muse. No. Okay. All right. So this one, again, not going to tell you the name of it. Where to start? Right. A second man has been charged in connection with the 2005 theft of a pair of ruby slippers that Judy Garland wore in The Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Yes.
According to an indictment.
Like home.
No, according to an indictment made public Sunday. And this was from 2024, March 2024. The theft. The slippers, adorned with sequins and glass beads, were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in the late actor's hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, nearly 20 years ago.
Oh.
Really?
Their whereabouts remained a mystery until the FBI recovered them in 2018. The agency never disclosed exactly how it tracked down the slippers because, it's a secret. The Bureau said a man approached the slippers insurer in 2017 and claimed he could help recover them, but demanded more than the $200,000 reward being offered. The slippers were recovered during an FBI sting in Minneapolis the next year. The man who stole the slippers, Terry John Martin, who was 76, pleaded guilty in October to theft of a major artwork, admitting to using a hammer to smash the glass of the museum's door and display case in what his attorney said was an attempt to pull off one last score after turning away from a life of crime.
So it wasn't that he was like an obsessive Judy Garland fan, or he was just a creep. Oh, I thought it was going to be like he was like,
I was kind of hoped it was going to be some
flamboyant, yes,
theatrical.
To your point, Swanee, according to his attorney, Martin had no idea about the cultural significance of the ruby slippers and had never seen The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, God.
Oh, worst thief ever.
What a loser.
That's right, yeah. He reportedly dumped the slippers after someone told him the rubies weren't real.
I've had visions of like Big Gay Al. Do you ever watch South Park?
I used to. Was he like...
He used to say, super, thanks for asking. I thought it might have been Big Gay Al who stole them.
No,
I saw
it
this...
was little Terry John Martin. He was sentenced in January to time served due to his poor health. Remember, he's 76.
I think he should have been sentenced for crimes against culture for not knowing the significance of the ruby slippers. Like,
I just saw some shiny red shoes.
What an ignoramus, right?
Just nick those.
God.
And he's in Judy Garland's fucking museum. Like, how can you not know what you're looking at?
How can you screw that up?
Well, he went there to look at Meet Me in St. Louis. He was a big fan of that film, but he didn't know anything about The Wizard of Oz. I'm making that shit up.
Thank God, because I was going, what? That can't be
clang,
true.
Clang, goes to something. I can't remember the words. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding goes a bell. Ring,
yes,
ding, 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 ding.
Happy. I can't remember how it goes. Anyway. So now there's an alleged perp number 2 for this. Is Jerry Hal Siliterman. Siliterman? Yeah, sure, whatever. 76 also, because apparently that's a great year for stealing Judy Garland things.
Memorabilia.
Of Crystal, Minnesota, was charged with theft of a major artwork and witness tampering. He didn't enter a plea when he made his first appearance Friday in the U.S. District Court in St. Paul. The indictment says that from August 2005 to 2018, Siliterman received, concealed and disposed of an object of cultural heritage. And this is my favourite part of the story, Siliterman knew the slippers were stolen and threatened to release a sex tape of a woman and take her down with him if she didn't keep her mouth shut about the item.
Oh, God.
Is that the witness tampering bit?
I assume so, that some witness was
right.
You've stolen Judy Garland's ruby slippers.
Yeah, shut up or I'll release a sex tape of you, you mole.
I put it all over the internet, you fucking skank. Yeah, that's right. Then someone else, John Kelch, founding director of the museum, the slippers have since been returned to Hollywood memorabilia collector Michael Shaw, who'd loaned the pair to the museum before they were stolen.
Oh, but he was not well pleased.
No, get this, and are being held by an auction house that plans to sell them because, he's missed them for 20-something years. He's over his attachment to them now. Federal prosecutors have put the slippers' market value at about, can you guess at how much they're worth?
$1 million?
$3 million.
$1 million.
I got $3 million. We've got a bigger on $3 million. We've got a lower on $3 million.
Yeah,
I got $1 million. We got $3 million.
$6 million.
$3.5 million.
Oh, gosh, you're close, boys.
Oh, I was close.
Closest without going, you win.
I know the value of ruby slippers without rubies.
Glass beads and sequins. That's right. But they once graced the feet of Judy Garland. So,
Also, if you click them 3 times together, they take you home.
That's right.
So that's the hidden value.
Now,
After that
apparently,
movie.
Judy Garland wore several pairs during the filming, but only 4 authentic pairs remain. The other pairs are held by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the Smithsonian's Museum of American History, and a private collector. So the one that was nicked, which is worth 3.5 mil, was the 4th pair. I've got a news story for you. You ready for it?
Yes.
Sure, bring it.
Again, I'm not. Oh man, the first sentence pretty much gives it away too. But I'm not giving you the
First
headline.
sentence. Start with the second one then.
See if you can start with the second sentence. See if it still works. Just give it a shot.
And I can't remember where I got it from, but I think it says Fox 35 Orlando. So let's go with that, right?
Yep.
By Danny Medina.
Thanks, Danny.
Is he funky and cold?
Correct. I think it's a woman. Published 13th of June 2024, just so that everyone can say I cited this somewhat correctly. Daytona Beach, Florida.
Daytona Beach.
And I was not going for a theme, but I've got to tell you, when I searched
A lot of whack happens in Florida.
weird and funny crimes, it seems that like 50% of these are from Florida. I did try quite hard. And even the ones that I thought I was getting from like the metro.co.uk and Daily Express.
Still in Florida.
They turned out to be Florida stories.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Didn't you Google Florida man in this search? Didn't we used to have a thing about Florida man?
Well, if I'm fair and truthful, yes, I did. But then I went, oh, this is just, too obvious. And then I went away from it and I still came back to Florida stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Daytona Bleach.
Daytona Bleach cures COVID.
Daytona Beach, Florida. A Florida man is accused of stripping naked and lighting his dog on fire in the parking lot of a Daytona Beach hotel on Tuesday night. Don't worry, the dog's not madly harmed.
No animals were harmed in the making of this story.
It's a bit harmed, but it's not harmed that much.
Not madly, mildly.
That's right.
It's not Freddy Krueger.
Michael Zellers, 65, was arrested and charged with the following.
65? Oh, I was thinking like 20-year-old meth head.
He's probably still a meth head, but anyway.
Right, okay.
Charged with the following after the incident that unfolded at the Wyndham Hotel and Resort on North Atlantic Avenue, according to an arrest affidavit from the Daytona Beach Police Department. Felony animal cruelty. Check 1, right? Fair enough. Set his dog on fire.
Yeah.
Obstructing an officer.
Oh, God.
Well, he didn't really. We'll get to it. Obstructing an officer without violence.
What's that
Being
mean?
Please, officer.
That's a nonsense charge. I'm not being violent about this. I just would like you to not get in the way.
If you could just not come near me, and I mean that in a physical way.
I won't go with a knife because I'm non-violent.
That's right. Indecent exposure.
Is just on that, is there a charge for decent exposure?
I'm thinking no.
Not that I've ever seen, but maybe you could just bring it into common parlance.
I feel like if someone was hot and they exposed themselves, you might go.
If you were just
you're right, mate.
You were just
it's
no.
decent
I'm thinking
exposure.
if you just for no apparent reason started thrusting your fully clothed groin at someone, that could be decent exposure.
Well, it could be indecent though because you're gross.
Sexual.
Hot bloke gets out his massive schlong in public. It's decent.
That's decent.
He's a gander.
I feel like there should be a charge of decent exposure.
Perhaps beauty and decency is in the eye of the beholder. Anyway,
yes.
Possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. Conduct.
I don't
Disorderly contact by setting his dog on fire. That is a very disorderly contact.
That's a contact.
That is definitely a conduct.
That's a contact. Disorderly or otherwise. Violation probation. I said conduct, not contact.
No, you said conduct. No, you did with a D.
Conduct. Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. It's just drunken for contact. That's a contact, mate.
I thought you were going to take a photo. It's a real contact moment.
Conduct.
Oh, I mean Kodak.
No wonder they went bankrupt when they went down that advertising path.
Correctamundo. And violation probation, right? Okay, so police responded to the Daytona Beach Hotel just before 10:30 p.m. after reports came in of a naked man on the property. A man, later identified as Zellers, was standing in front of the hotel with his genitals exposed as guests walked in and out of the building, according to the arrest affidavit. Zellers, at first, allegedly ignored officers' commands to turn around and put his hands around his back, but he was eventually placed into handcuffs after a brief struggle, the affidavit said. Officers then spoke with
a brief struggle. Yeah, put your undies on. No, I want to stay naked. Put them on.
No, I'm not doing it. Officers then spoke with a couple of hotel security officers who said Zellers was dropped off at the property by an unknown black truck. Men in black.
I thought you were going to say black man. We're going to go back to Swanee's story from 2 weeks ago.
As it turns out, Mr. Zellers might be a person of colour, but that's beside the point. That's when the 65-year-old man allegedly pulled his pants down, exposing his genitals. He then grabbed a lighter from his pocket, which is hard to do when you've pulled them down and they're around your ankles. Yeah.
He's got long arms.
And proceeded...
Or short legs.
You and Tony would realise that when you're in your bloody hoodies. You can't leave it in. You've got to put it in your pouch at the front, like a Joey.
The only way you can get your lighter off the floor is to show nutsack in turn.
Now, I just want you to think about this because the man is standing in front of a hotel and he's dropped his pants and he's showing his genitals and he's pulling a lighter out and apparently he's proceeding to burn his dog on his ears, neck and paws.
Ooh.
But I want to understand how that's really going to happen.
Ears, neck and paws?
Is this a euphemism for some other kind of burning? Because I feel like the dog... I don't know. I feel like it's a very haphazard scene is what I'm picturing
If the dog had its paws on its head, like it was being arrested or something relaxed, as well, then you could get the ears, neck and paws at the same time. But otherwise...
Like seriously, if you're burning a dog's ear, it's pulling away from you. If you're burning its neck, it's pulling away. If you're touching its paws... Also, you got your junk out and your pants are down around your ankles and you're like... I don't know. I'm not sure.
Benny Hill music.
I feel like it's a fit up. Police said the dog suffered superficial injuries because it wasn't there. And the report...
And owner's shame.
The report was forwarded to animal control officers for a follow-up and medical care. During Zellers' arrest, a clear plastic bag that tested presumptive positive for fentanyl was discovered in the man's shirt, the affidavit added. Just added.
What's fentanyl?
Fentanyl is...
Oxycontin. Oxy. Isn't it like that?
I think it is.
A relaxant.
It's a patch that, like, they actually put it on dogs, ironically.
Oh.
When did I have Someone had fentanyl
You
recently.
have had it in hospital when you had your hip, did you have it when you had your hip redone?
Oh, no, I had it the other day when I had my... when I had my lady bit seen too. They gave me fentanyl then. Yeah.
Fuck it, what'd they do to them?
Yeah, when they took a walk through your lady garden.
They took my old marina out, they put a new one in and gave me a Curated. They gave me fentanyl when I woke up. Yeah.
Wow, because it's quite strong.
Is that
5 shots of fentanyl followed by an endone because I was in quite a lot of pain when I woke up. Yeah. I was in quite a lot of pain.
Do you reckon that's what happened to old mate in Daytona Beach?
Yeah, but I don't know how he's burning a dog because I can tell you I couldn't even feel my eyebrows. I couldn't feel a thing, right? I would not have...
But maybe that's why he had fentanyl.
I woke up and went, I'm a bit uncomfortable. And they were like, here, let us shoot you up some drugs. And they did. And I went, that feels better, thanks. And I just lay back and fell back asleep. And then I woke up and went, I'm in pain. And I said, let's shoot you up some more. And
God. Were you in hospital for this?
Yeah,
day surgery?
Day surgery. And I was like...
No, I was just in the car park at Coalstar.
I'm a bit shocked.
It wasn't nice. And then I said...
some kind of crackle as a result of this little procedure.
No. And then they said... How do you feel?
Haven't you seen the footage? It's all over the internet.
In fairness, I was bleeding and it was all it was quite a bit. It was a bit traumatic.
Fentanyl is a highly potent synthetic
heroin,
hyperidide opioid primarily used as an analgesic.
It's quite short.
It is 20 to 40 times more potent than heroin.
Thank you.
And 100 times more potent than morphine.
Maybe it wasn't fentanyl.
Its primary clinical utility is in pain management for cancer patients and those recovering from painful surgeries.
But having said that, like if they gave me a half a meal,
those who've had too many people in their winter garden.
I don't know how much they gave me. It's not like they gave me like 50 mils, right? So they could have given me 1 mil or something. I wasn't paying attention.
And hang on, it also says if your friends are trying to play down the effects of fentanyl on them, please remind them that
I felt good.
Prolonged use may affect future results.
They didn't give me my own syringe to go home and shoot myself up with, right? So I had it on the day. That was 2 weeks ago. I have not had any opioids since. All right, everyone? We're all fine.
I don't want you feeling bad about it. I did have a friend's child broke his collarbone and they gave him fentanyl afterwards, and I was like freaking out. And it was so strong it made him vomit and stuff. But it's very common after surgery, so I know I was giving you a hard time.
And he was only
I've got to assume that they just gave me a small amount because it only lasted like 5-6 minutes.
Let's hope so, because, it only takes one little time and then you're an addict. So let's just hope you're on the
Oh, piss off. I'm clearly not out there trying to get fentanyl now, right? Yeah. So that's our mate there. So now the next one is possibly
Hang on. I don't think we discussed that enough. What happened to the dog?
The dog was fine. Like, bit of singed hair.
No, but the dog should have been reclaimed by puppy services and rehomed. That's not okay behaviour.
Maybe someone put a fentanyl patch on it after its terrible burn situation and then sent it off to the shelter and it got rehomed or put down.
Okay, let's go with that.
That's how these things go.
I'm happier if it gets rehomed and lived happily ever after.
Well, I'll let you believe that then.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I don't know what happened to the dog. Let's hope that someone rehomed the poor thing. So my next one's from the dailymail.co.uk, and yet, as I said earlier, regardless of how far afield I tried to look, we still ended up in our old hometown, Florida. Yeah.
All roads lead to Florida.
Now, we have in the past, and this is from 2016, we have talked about the dangers of alligators and the dangers of crocodiles, right?
Have we discussed which one would win in a fight?
No, we haven't. This story is about a man who decided to be a burglar, and when the police showed up, he decided to hide from the police.
In an alligator?
But tragically, he decided to hide in the police.
In the Everglades.
Somewhere near Barefoot Bay Pond. No. And an alligator drowned a Florida man trying to hide from the police and then ate him.
Oh, problem solved.
Well, there we go.
I mean, it's not funny, but
you won't do that again.
That's right. Matthew Riggins, 22, was reported missing on November the 13th, shortly after he and another man had made a plan to rob houses in Barefoot Bay, according to his girlfriend, the sole survivor. Just kidding. Well, the friend survived too. The body was found 10 days later floating in Barefoot Bay Pond, closely guarded by an 11-foot alligator.
Oh,
and
11 if you think, foot, that's a big one.
It's not bad. And if you think I'm being unsympathetic, local resident Laura Farris said, he hid in the wrong place.
Well, that's why we put him there.
Bay News 9 reports that Riggins and his accomplice were spotted lurking behind homes by neighbours who called the police the night of their alleged robberies. Deputies arrived on the scene at around 2 a.m. on November 13 and began to look for the men using K9 units and even a helicopter to try and track the pair. They both managed to evade authorities, however, and Riggins even called his girlfriend during the chase to let her know what was happening and to tell her he was laying low. Unfortunately, he decided to lay low near the edge of Barefoot Bay Pond and was reported as missing by his family that same day. He probably went into the lake to hide from the officers and the dog and came across the gator, said Major Todd Goodyear of the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. The alligator also met an untimely end on the day Riggins' body was found, as a trapper from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission was forced to euthanize the reptile after it aggressively began approaching divers sent to recover Riggins' corpse. Sorry, Riggins' corpse.
Riggins's.
Well, his name is Riggins.
It's when you start to go Rigginses.
It's Rigginses, cool. It's Rigginses. Anyway. Rigginses. So they had to kill the alligator as well because it tried to...
That's sad.
I know. It was just doing what
the
nature
moral
intended.
of the story for all you man-killing alligators is if you're going to kill someone, swallow them whole so they can't find them. That's what the crocodiles do in Australia.
Well, we'll get to that.
Good strategy.
The trapper had been called to the scene after divers observed the severe trauma Riggins's, and it's literally got an apostrophe, so I can say that, corpse body had suffered during the attack. The medical examiner was able to confirm the alligator was responsible for killing Riggins after discovering his remains inside the alligator's stomach. Like most alligator prey, Riggins was drowned before the animal began to eat the man. And here's another unsympathetic neighbour. I would say it's poetic justice. You want to sit there and steal from people? Said Barefoot Bay resident Chuck Stotes. The man who is believed to have been with Riggins that night has refused to cooperate with police and not been charged with a crime at this time. To hide somewhere and try to get away. I don't know, I'm so southern. I know Florida's not like this.
It's impressive, though.
To hide somewhere and try to get away and then meeting up with an animal like that? No, I've never had that happen before, said Major Goodyear, who may or may not be from a southern state and sound a bit like Forrest Gump.
Wait till you have a badge, Major, then you will.
What's wrong, Swanee? You're not loving my accent choices.
No, it was very good. I'm just in lasagna land already. Sorry.
You're not in Alligator Ada
No,
would-be burglar?
I was just...
It's not a gator lasagna?
No.
So that's where Alligator ate a would-be burglar. If you take a leaf out of our book, you will understand how Australians respond to this shit. A crocodile that terrorised an Aboriginal community was shot and cooked up by the locals who devoured it in a traditional feast. That's how we deal with this shit in Australia. The reptile, get this, measuring, what's 11 feet in, that's 11 feet is under...
Not 4, 3 and a bit.
We know what a 6-foot man is, so, give you an idea.
3.5.
A man and a half. Bit.
This is probably the equivalent. The reptile measuring in at a whopping 3.63 metre crocodile.
A whopping?
It's pretty big, 3.63. I wouldn't want to meet that on a ever. Right, moved into the river Bains in Australia's Northern Territory. It followed after mass flooding in the region earlier this year, according to authorities. Since January, the croc had been stalking and lunging out of the water at children and adults in the town of Bulla.
Lunging. I can always think of like a man in cycling gear lunging, like give it a lunging. Stretching, sort of lunge. Lunging.
I'm having a lunge, yeah. I think this croc was trying to eat people and other things, yeah.
So crocodiles can grow up to 6 metres.
Yeah, I know. They're fucking massive.
Imagine that.
It's a dinosaur. Let's face it. That is a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah, it is a dinosaur. Absolutely.
I mean, they are dinosaurs, but still.
Also, that is proof. That's how you know they're dinosaurs, when they get 6 metres big.
They're dinosaurs, mate.
Start running around on 2 legs.
Now, not only were people the targets of this crocodile, police said the large saltwater crocodile had also taken multiple community dogs. Well, there's only one answer for that, right? Authorities added in their recent statement on the matter that following discussions with members of the local Aboriginal community in Bulla, the animal was shot. Fair enough too. This was so that it did not continue to pose a significant risk to the community. The animal was then prepared to be served as part of a feast in the traditional manner, my favourite bit.
Burgers?
Namely, no, the crocodile was placed on the barbecue. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do not have a 3.6 metre barbecue. Rotisserie. And it was also subsequently cooked up into crocodile tail soup. And the tail was like 1.5 metres long, right? It was huge.
And we're going to have that every night through winter.
For the rest of our lives, that's right.
Because it's a massive tail.
Yes, you have to have it again tonight. Oh, I've had enough of it, Mum. Enough.
Not again.
Additionally,
you have your cold cut up on sandwiches for school.
I'm so over crocodile sausages. Additionally, a number of cuts of meat were also wrapped in banana leaves and cooked underground.
Oh, nice.
If you eat the crocodile that ate your dog, Are you eating your dog?
No. It's digested. It's done.
You're very quick to say that.
No, you're very quick to say that. How do you? Why?
Yeah,
how are you such an aficionado on another topic that concerns me?
Too quick, no credibility.
Oh no, I wouldn't say no credibility. She just knows through personal experience.
Well, she's convinced herself that you're not.
I don't know much about crocodiles or what they eat, but I can tell you that when my father...
But I know
about dogs and crocodiles. That may be all I need to know. Look at this face. He's so beaten and so battered. Look at these eyes. They've never seen what matters. I don't know much.
But I know about crocodiles.
Dogs and crocodiles.
Dogs being digested by crocodiles. About a baby.
I need to know.
Oh no.
No, all I was going to say is I don't know much about crocodiles, but my father, when he first came to this land, he was not a wealthy man, and he travelled all over the Northern Territory, and he shot crocodiles. And he said that if you eat them, they make you smell. So
they taste like chicken.
They might do, but he said like you smell after you eat them. But I that's secondhand from that's scuttlebutt from my dearly departed father.
Be accurate.
And I've never eaten a crocodile, so I couldn't tell you. Anyway, local Sergeant Andrew McBride told press.
What do you smell like?
Fish.
Crocodile.
Fishy crocodile-y smell, yeah. Yeah.
No thanks.
So apparently it was a rather traditional feast, and there were a few full bellies. I think there's been a lot of rain, and so the crocodiles have been showing up where they haven't seen them before.
Everywhere.
The amount of water's just pushed them into random places. Hi! Yeah. Hi, just popping up. We haven't seen me before. Hi! This is obviously one of those crocodiles that's gone for a bit of a swim and a walk and popped up very close to residence. I like that idea. Just gone for a bit of a swim, and then I've gone for a bit of a walk, and I've gone, hi, let me eat your dogs and possibly you. Commander Kylie Anderson added crocodiles can pose a significant risk to community safety. She's not a lot of fun, Kylie Anderson. Thanks to the seamless collaboration between parks and wildlife, our remote police staff and local residents, we were able to safely remove the large, salty, and maintain the safety of the community. Well done, Kylie.
And create a feast for the community as well.
We fed the starving thousands. That's right. Excellent job. Excellent job.
The starving thousands?
I made that up. Just people who just enjoyed a good a bit of munch on a croc. Good on them.
Croc fest.
Croc munch. Oh, God, I've done it again. Can't remember where I got this from, but it's really good sauce. It's by David Moy. And it was released on the 19th of May 2020. Can't remember from what source. Could be from the New York Post or various others.
The Candy Chronicle. 2
men wearing watermelon rinds robbed a convenience store in Louisiana, Virginia.
Oh, no.
I need to show you a photo of this because it doesn't make...
It's the melon head.
It's not funny until you see it.
Aren't they just watermelons cut into helmets? Because I've seen people do that at the cricket.
What, wear half a watermelon?
With watermelon?
Yeah.
People are weird, aren't they?
It'd be sticky.
And that's the reason. After all of these podcasts, that's the reason you decide that people are weird. Oh, wow, they've actually got them. They're full head ones.
They look like
Jesus.
Ninja Turtles. They've got like Ninja Turtles.
Aliens.
Like aliens, yeah. The back one does.
God.
How funny is that? You had to get a watermelon big enough to be able to hold it out and stick your head in it.
Yeah.
How small are their heads?
That's what the children are they or something?
I think they're probably
they're
young.
micro heads. We joked.
Was it during
we joked about this years and years and years ago in this episodes ago about the mini heads when you put them in the oven and they shrinky down.
Oh God!
I reckon that's what they've done to their heads.
It looks like there's a sign in there that says 6 foot distance. So is it during COVID that they did it or something?
Probably.
May 2020.
Yeah, May 2020. Yeah. Oh, but how ridiculous is that?
I want to call them out for their incorrect usage of 6 foot.
I just thought it was funny. So the writer, who I just said was
Peter Moyes.
David Moy. Nicely done, though, Swanee.
Not Des Moyne.
As disguises go, these were pretty seedy. Ching.
Hate the seedy ones.
Police in Louisa, Virginia took to social media on Saturday in hopes of finding 2 men accused of robbing a convenience store on the May 6th.
Anyone recognise these?
With watermelon rinds on their head. I wouldn't call it watermelon rinds. I'd be like a whole watermelon on your head. Anyway, surveillance
watermelon
cameras at a Shitsy store caught the scofflaws in the act. But they managed to...
Not so shitsy.
But they managed to elude authorities thanks to their brilliant disguises, according to the New York Post. That is until Sunday, when authorities arrested 20-year-old, to your point, Swanee, about how young they are, Justin Rogers, in connection with what the Post deemed the melon drama. Rogers was...
melodramatic.
They were so ingenious, I know.
Clever,
the melon
Yeah.
drama. Oh, that's funny.
Stop being so melodramatic,
I think
everyone.
they missed a trick there.
Some people are really hard to please on this podcast. Rogers was booked on 3 charges, according to TMZ. Misdemeanor larceny of alcohol, pisshead. Misdemeanor possession of alcohol, pisshead, by an underage person. And felony prohibition of wearing a face mask covering in public, which I think is inappropriate because he definitely had a full head mask on. Police are still on the lookout for a second person, according to the Pittsburgh Tribune-Review. Candace Went, a customer at the convenience store where the robbery took place, thought the disguises...
Are you serious?
Yes.
Candace Went is her name.
Yeah, or Vent, if you like.
Yana,
yeah. Thought the disguises fell in that thin line between stupid and clever. Quote, I think it's ridiculous. Innovative, but ridiculous. Went told WRIC-TV. The amount of work that you have to do to actually hollow out a watermelon to stick it on your head, I think it's kind of crazy.
what if they ate it all?
I think she's right. It's just stupid. Anyway.
They might have eaten the whole watermelon each and then gone, what are we going to do with these? Oh, I don't know. Let's go and whack them on our heads and make muppets of ourselves.
Let's go and... I don't even know what they tried to steal. Robbed a convenience store.
Their dignity?
Yeah, I think they stole their dignity. Absolutely, yeah.
chocolate bars.
Oh, yum. They're making me hungry.
Now we're moving to basically the one source for everything else now, because I found a treasure trove on the nypost.com. So the first one is about an alleged meth user landed herself behind bars when she called Indiana police to rat out her drug dealer, telling cops the batch was not what it was supposed to be. Sarah Harris, 34.
Doesn't meet my stringent quality control standards.
Correct. Dialed 911 twice in January to complain that she was supplied with a bad baggie of methamphetamine. An arrest affidavit obtained by the Smoking Gun shows. Harris then allegedly handed the drugs over to cops at her home in the city of Bedford in hopes that they could test their authenticity.
You are kidding.
This is shit. Could you just check it out for me? Sarah Harris allegedly called 911 to report her drug dealer for selling her a bad batch of meth. The meth left her feeling as though she were having a heart attack, she allegedly explained to police. Harris allegedly admitted to snorting a line of the substance and felt something different when it touched her skin and nostrils. She immediately knew it wasn't the experience she'd signed up for.
No.
She compared the painful sensation to the bowl of normal meth that she smoked with a friend previously, according to the documents. Harris was apparently willing to admit to her illegal activity as long as it meant retribution for her sketchy dealer. Harris allegedly handed over the meth to cops, asking if they could test it. I want to turn the person in that provided the bad meth, Harris allegedly declared. For her candid honesty, Harris was slapped with a meth possession charge, a felony that carries a maximum 30-month prison sentence, according to charges filed last week. The arrest does not mark Harris's first run-in with cops.
No.
Shock me.
No way.
She has prior convictions.
Not with the drug.
For theft, meth possession, criminal mischief, disorderly conduct, resisting and operating a motor vehicle whilst intoxicated.
Winner.
This is what's wrong with the world.
Is it just what's wrong with the world?
Back in the day, you used to say to people, don't try drugs because you don't know what's in them. There's no quality control. And now they've turned that around and they're coming back to the police saying, I tried drugs and the quality wasn't what it should be.
I would like you to check that I'm right on that.
No one does anything about this. Yeah.
Someone's got to maintain the quality. That's right.
Everyone is about everyone else's problems. It's not me.
So the next one is from the NY Post again, by social links for Jorge Fitzgibbon. Anyway, that's my citing. A Florida man wanted by the cops tried to throw them off his trail by placing a big sign outside his house reading, Johnny Yates does not, in capitals, live here.
Oh, he's slick.
What?
It didn't work. Oh. Yates, 41, who was wanted by the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Polk Salad Annie, Gator Gotcha Granny. You still don't know that song, do you?
No.
Only from previous episodes.
I still don't know.
You really have to Google Polk Salad Annie. Anyway.
I feel like we have.
Polk County Sheriff's Office on aggravated battery, false imprisonment and tampering charges was eventually locked up. Deputies showed up at Yates's Lakeland home at around 2:45 p.m. on Saturday after getting a tip that he was holed up inside. When the deputies arrived, they noticed a note written on a whiteboard in front of their window that said, Johnny Yates does not live here. And then the Facebook post from the sheriff's office goes on to say, gee, a dry eraser board never lied to us before. Should we believe it? The deputies
aren't they funny?
Oh, cheeky. Aren't they sarcastic? Cheeky. I know. Dry. The deputies questioned someone leaving the house who confirmed that Yates was inside. He's totally in there.
Yeah, don't worry about the sign.
But after rounding the house for an hour and calling for him to come out, cops had to take it to the next level, the office said.
No, what is the next level?
Enough was enough, and the surrender smoke was dispensed inside the house.
I heard that.
And
the surrender smoke. They gassed the bastard.
They gassed him, that's right. And 4 people exited the home. I've never heard it called surrender smoke, but it's quite funny.
I mean, what? Surrender smoke.
4 other poor fuckers ran out of the house, but not Johnny, the sheriff's office said.
Because he doesn't live there. See, the whiteboard was right all along.
Deputies called out some more, but still no response from Johnny. So a second helping of surrender smoke was put inside the home for a little bit. Still no response from Johnny. Finally, deputies and K9 Dexter,
no surrendering Johnny,
entered the house and located Johnny, who was hiding in a modified chest of drawers, which was clearly like he was going to run out of oxygen because he was avoiding the surrender smoke. But he was in a modified
gas-proof watermelon on his head.
No, he was in a chest of drawers, so I don't know how he didn't die. Anyway, Johnny was arrested and taken to jail. The office.
How do you fit in a chest of drawers?
Well, he's modified, so they've taken all the actual drawers out, I'm guessing.
Righto.
So Johnny was arrested, taken to jail. The office said the 4 people who were initially holed up in the house with Johnny were also dealt with. In regards to the 4 people who weren't cooperating with deputies, each one received a parting gift, and you'll enjoy this. A charge of resisting and an all-expense-paid trip to Grady Judd's bed and breakfast. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, that is. Polk salad, Annie. Gator gotcha, granny.
What happened to the whiteboard?
It probably got sold at a police auction later on.
Oh, it should have got arrested.
You got boyfriend? This takes place in a nail salon.
Oh, honey, why you not have?
Oh, honey, why you not have boyfriend? Oh, your nail short. You did long nail.
You're so pretty like cheerleader.
You want gel? You want gel now?
Crypto gel.
Yeah, the crypto gel.
You like shellac?
You want shellac?
Shellac. You know a nail? Shellac.
Okay, so this one takes place in a nail salon. And again from the NY Post. Again, I'm avoiding the headline because then it gives it all away. So the first line reads, he needs to polish He should be. He needs to polish up his MO.
He needs to polish up his MO.
A would-be crook strolled into an Atlanta salon and loudly demanded everyone's money. But he left none the richer after patrons and workers completely brushed him aside. The failed robbery at Now First on Monday was captured on surveillance. Swanee, can you remember the place I went to get my nails done before I went?
Married. Yes.
Can you remember what it was called? It's something like Great Nail. It's like one nail.
Yeah, one nail. Just one.
Fancy nail.
Beautiful nail. It's like beautiful nail. The failed robbery at Now First on Monday was captured on surveillance footage and shared by Atlanta police with the hopes of finding the wannabe thief. Everybody get down. Give me all your money. Empty out your pockets, the man yells at three women sitting up in front after he walks through the door, and I've seen this video, according to this video. After the women casually ignore him.
That's so impressive.
No one is paying this fucker any attention. He walked over to a worker who calmly answered the phone during the ordeal. Where's the money? The suspect asks the man on the phone, who similarly doesn't bat an eye because he's taking what time you want. He's
making the point.
The one where you had your nails done would have been called Nails Desire.
That's it. Nails Desire. Yeah. Very, very good.
Nail Desire.
Nail Desire. Yeah. And they have signs that are missing many a letter that should be in it. The attempted robber then briefly cuts out of frame before reappearing and directing his next demands at one of the women who stood up. Give me the money. Where's the money? The persistent but ineffective suspect says again. The woman backs away out the door and tells him she doesn't have anything. After she steps outside, the man sheepishly looks around before heading for the exit. He briefly approached the woman outside one last time before completely walking away empty-handed. And that is how you blank a thief.
Well done.
Yeah, not today, honey.
I work hard for them.
They do, and
you don't work hard for the money.
I'm not parting with that money. And my last one, again from the NY Post, treasure trove of funny stories. This one's by Cameron Jeffrey Wilson from the Chelan County Department of Corrections. Yeah, I'm ready for this.
Okay.
A bungling felon from Washington State made a series of blunders when he shot himself in the testicles and tried to hide the weapon.
Ouch.
What? And there was a series of them. That just sounds like
all
a big enough one.
All while storing drugs in his anus, a report said on Wednesday. Everything's down there. Everything's happening down there.
It's
a lot. It's a lot. It's all underneath the hoodie.
Below the belt, all in the downstairs areas. That's right. Cameron Jeffrey Wilson, 27, was carrying a pistol in his front pocket while in his Kashmir, Washington apartment on the 5th of April when the firearm accidentally discharged and pierced his groin and thigh.
Oh.
According to...
Do firearms accidentally discharge?
News. No, I feel like you have to pull the trigger. I don't know enough about firearms.
Probably didn't have the safety on and just whacked it back in his...
They have safeties on in the movies too, safety catches. I think
he was whacking something. Anyway,
it's
Wilson,
a whack job,
who is a 13-time convicted felon, and allow me to remind you he's 27 years old, told his girlfriend to dispose of the weapon before heading to the hospital, the paper said. When the ex-con finally...
Oh, he's a thinker.
He's only thinking about one thing. I don't want to get caught for the 14th time. When the ex-con finally went to the hospital, a balloon of marijuana slipped out of his anus.
I hate it when that happens.
Well, a doctor was operating on the gunshot wound.
He just shot himself.
Oh, God.
He got a bit relaxed. A balloon of marijuana just slipped out of his anus.
How big is a balloon of marijuana?
I can't answer that.
I'm
really
guessing it'd have to be
know.
a decent size because you wouldn't want a tiny bit. But
No,
how
you
does
don't
a
want a
big
gram.
balloon slip out?
Well, it just does.
It's been a two-way shoot for a long time, that anus.
Cops also arrived at the hospital. So this is after he's had the surgery and his mum's revealed
Released
balloon of marijuana. So the cops also arrived at the hospital when alerted of the gunshot wound and searched his car, where they discovered a bag of meth in the blood-stained jeans he was wearing when he shot himself in the dick. The officers issued an arrest warrant for Wilson, and he turned himself into police because he's not that dumb on the April 18th. But here's the last and my favorite part of the story. As he was being processed at the Chillen County Regional Justice Centre, Wilson was strip searched, and as we have all learnt from Orange is the New Black, you have to squat and cough. And another balloon of marijuana slipped from his anus.
God.
This is full of it.
And that, my fellow inmates, concludes the worst day of my life.
While in jail, Wilson made a number of calls to his girlfriend and asked her not to cooperate with the investigators working on his case. Authorities, of course, were listening in on the calls. The convicted felon was charged with possession of a firearm, unlawful possession of meth, possession of a controlled substance in a correctional facility because he went into jail with a balloon of marijuana in his anus, and 4 counts of tampering with a witness. Wilson was being held on 110.
With an anus?
He probably had that up there for a while then.
Oh, I know.
I forgot it was there. It's not like I brought it in willingly. I just forgot it was there, all right?
There were multiples up ballooning.
There. I had a colon full of balloons of marijuana.
I don't know how they got up there either.
Of how many had slipped out. He was being held on a $110,000 bail and is due in court on the 18th of June. And that, my friends, is my latest curation of crazy crimes.
Crazy. Bravo. Well done.
Wow.
Oh, my giddy aunt.
Anal ballooning.
Anal ballooning, we've had it all in that run.
Yes.
We've had a nice bit of Dorothy. We've had a nice bit of
slippers.
Alligator eating a burglar, crocodile getting eaten.
Yeah.
The Hamburglar. I feel like the alligator should have had those little things on.
The alligator was just doing what it does. I feel a bit sad it got euthanized. But then I don't, because I hate alligators and crocodiles because they are like
especially 11-foot ones.
Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone you want a sentence? Anyone you felt bad for? Anyone you felt good for? Anyone you just think they just got
bad for the alligator?
I
did feel bad for the alligator. Yeah, there's a lot of comeuppance going on in there.
I feel that was a bit unfair that they had to put the alligator down. I mean, it was just protecting its kill.
Yeah.
Dinner. Swanee, any thoughts? I mean, we don't really have to sentence anyone.
I'm thinking, there's nothing that springs to mind. I was just sort of enjoying myself along the way.
That's the idea of these. It's a collection of just funny, ha 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 ha, someone got eaten, ha 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 ha, someone shot his own testicles.
Do you reckon the girlfriend shot his testicles off and he was just too high
I reckon he shot his own dick off.
Balloons?
I mean,
it was nice to hear the word dick. I haven't really heard that used much. That gave me a bit of a giggle. It doesn't get the out. Doesn't used to be getting lots of outings when we were young. Everyone used the word dick.
You don't get the dick out as much as you used to.
But people don't. It used to be very common when I was younger. Like maybe to hear the word dick a lot. Dick, that dickhead. Whatever. It's not used as much now because we've taken swearing to another level. So dick seems a little bit sort of, I don't know if it's pedestrian, but certainly entry level. So it was quite refreshing to hear the word when you used dick. It gave me a little chuckle. Dick. Well, let's go back to dick.
Do you blame Richards for the lack of the use of the word dick?
No, I think it's more of we've moved on. Forever. Yeah, I don't think it's that at all.
Richard and Dick has been around for ages. Yeah. No, I agree. We've just
bigger swear words, more potent swear words.
The filthier stuff.
Correct. Yeah. And Dick has fallen by the wayside. But it was nice to hear. Nice to hear.
Said the lesbian to her lover.
I, as a heterosexual woman, just I'm not comfortable with dick falling by the wayside. I want it to remain mainstream. So I shall endeavour to use it more. Tony?
Tony, get the audio on.
Get
your audio.
Just your little audio. Peekaboos.
I dropped something again.
Boom, tish, boom, tish. Yeah. Anyway. I like the way you both went silent, leaving me
Form tishing.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think you went to a place that we can't follow you.
Or shouldn't, anyway.
Yeah.
Happy that no one sentenced anyone. It was just a collection of silliness. Hope you enjoyed it. Swanee, enjoy your trip OS.
I shall do.
Yes.
And as we say every week, miss you already. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.